Good afternoon, students. Welcome to today's class. Today, we are going to look at the concepts of NP-hard and NP-complete problems. So, these are the new terms. You might not have faced these words before. So, these are the words related with the research of algorithms. So till now we have learned the algorithms, different algorithms we learned, and we saw many kinds of techniques that are used for solving different problems. And also we learned the concepts of time complexity and the concepts of space complexity in each of the problems. Okay, and what is the aim of a researcher? The aim of the researcher is to come up with new algorithms, and not just new algorithms. He has to come up with algorithms that takes less space and less time, computation time. So that is the aim of a researcher. So as I told, this is a research topic, this is a theoretical topic, and I'll make you try to understand the concepts of NP hard and NP complete problems in today's class. In algorithms, if we take algorithms, it can be broadly classified into two categories. So one category is polynomial time algorithms, other category is non-polynomial time algorithms. So first we should understand what is meant by these two algorithms. First, let us take the first one. The algorithms for which solution times are bound by polynomials of smaller degree. That means, in simple, what we can tell is a polynomial time algorithm is one which executes in a shorter period of time. It takes very less time to execute. Such algorithms are called as polynomial time algorithms. So you see the definition of the polynomial time algorithm: algorithms for which solution times are bound by polynomials of smaller degree. Polynomials of smaller degree means these are the algorithms which take very less time to execute. Okay, they are faster algorithms. Some of the examples are searching, it takes big O of log n. Polynomial evaluation, it takes big O of n. Sorting, it takes big O of n log n. String editing, it takes big O of mn. These are some of the examples. Okay. Now, on the other hand, there is one more category. We call them as non-polynomial time algorithms. Just the opposite of that. What is the opposite of that is it takes a very large time to execute. Okay, they are also called as exponential time algorithms. So they are not bound by polynomials of smaller degree, but instead they are bound by exponentials. For example, a traveling salesman problem, it is of n square into 2 to the power n. Knapsack, it is of big O of 2 power n by 2. Graph coloring, it is big O of 2n, 2 power n. Subset sum, it is big O of 2 power n. So this is the second category of algorithms which takes a larger time for execution. Okay. Now, I hope you understood this. Polynomial time algorithm means, in simple, it takes less amount of time to execute. Non-polynomial time algorithms means it takes a large time to execute the algorithms. We'll move further. So what should be the aim of the researcher? Aim of the researcher should be to convert non-deterministic, non-polynomial algorithms into deterministic polynomial time algorithms. So here, what this tells us, the main aim should be, just forget about this term non-deterministic and deterministic. We'll see that in the next slide. It is to convert non-polynomial time algorithms into polynomial time algorithms. I hope you understood this. That means a slower algorithm should be converted, or a new algorithm should be framed so that it runs in polynomial time. That means it will run faster. So that should be the aim of the researcher. Okay, since this is a topic which takes many years for research, the work done by a researcher has to be saved in whatever state it is. This is a very large topic or a very vast topic. Okay, it is the researcher will not come up with the results in 1 month or 2 months or 3 months. So it takes years together to come up with a new algorithm. Sometimes it may take 10 years or 20 years or 30 years or even more than that. Okay, a researcher spends many years, around decades he will spend to come up with the efficient algorithm. Okay, so whatever research he has done, think that the researcher is not successful after 10 years or 20 years of research. The researcher is not successful in uh, coming up with the final result. So he has failed somewhere. He has failed, and he didn't get the expected solution. So what happens to his research work? What has to be done? Whether it should go waste, whether everything whatever he has done for 10 or 20 years, whether it will be a waste. So it should not be a waste. Okay, whatever he has done the research on the particular topic for 10 or 20 years, so that should not go as a waste. Okay, it should be recorded. Everything, the research, whatever research he has done, it should be recorded. Okay, for that purpose, this topic helps. The NP hard and NP problem, NP complete problem, so it comes into use. The third point, this helps the other researchers. What is the use of that? What is the use of saving the work of other researchers? It helps other researchers to continue the research by continuing the work done by the previous researcher. So by looking at the work done by the previous researcher, somebody else can continue with the same research, so that most of the time is saved. Okay. For this, the concepts of NP hard and NP complete provides certain guidelines about how to classify the research work and how to continue with the research. So what this NP hard and NP complete provides is, it provides certain guidelines about how to classify the research work. So based on what we should classify the research work, so that it can be used by some other researchers. Okay, so this is the main concept behind the NP hard and NP complete problems. I hope you got this point. Yes, coming to some basics. There is one term called as non-deterministic algorithms. Non-deterministic algorithms. So what is meant by this? We will first understand. Later, we will see some examples. If the result of every operation is uniquely defined, then such algorithms are called deterministic algorithms. This is a definition of deterministic. So what it tells us, if in an algorithm, if every operation or every line is uniquely defined, that means you take any algorithm. For example, you take the example of a linear search. In linear search algorithm, you can understand every line in that algorithm, isn't it? Every line in the algorithm is neatly defined, and anybody can understand that. So such algorithms, they are called as deterministic algorithms. Okay, because every operation is uniquely defined and it is very easy to understand. On the other part, algorithms which contains operations whose outcome is not uniquely defined. That means there are some algorithms where you are not able to understand some part of the code, some part of the algorithm, and a clear definition will not be given in such algorithms. Okay, and they are called as non-deterministic algorithms. You have to understand these two things. One is deterministic, other one is non-deterministic. Deterministic algorithms are those in which every line is neatly defined. Very simple. Okay, and non-deterministic algorithms are those in which some of the lines or some of the code is not neatly defined. Okay, now, so having understood these two things, let us go back to the previous slide. In that, now understand this first definition. Aim of the researcher should be to convert non-deterministic. Non-deterministic means which is not neatly defined. The code which is not neatly defined, he has to convert such an algorithm which is non-deterministic as well as which is non-polynomial. Non-polynomial means which takes a large time to execute. So this algorithm has to be converted into deterministic. Deterministic means in which the codes are neatly defined. Deterministic polynomial time algorithms, and which runs in polynomial time. That means which runs faster. So this should be the aim of the researcher. Convert non-deterministic, non-polynomial time algorithms into deterministic polynomial time algorithms. Now, so before taking the examples, we should let us consider three functions. One is choice of S. other one is failure, other one is success. These are the three functions. What it does, choice of S will arbitrarily choose one of the elements from a set S. So just keep in mind these things. So what a choice function will do, it will choose one of the element from the set S arbitrarily. Arbitrary means it is not known how it is chosen. So that is called as arbitrary. Failure signals an unsuccessful operation. Success signals a successful operation. Now, if you look at this example, if you look at the code here, so what this problem is, it is consider the problem of searching. It is a searching algorithm for an element X in array A in a given set of elements A. So A is an array from index 1 to n. A is the array from index 1 to n, and X is the element to be searched in this array. Okay. Now we are required to determine an index J such that A of J is equal to X. We have to find out in which index J of this array A, X is present. If it is present, okay. Otherwise, J should be 0. If J is equal to 0, it means that the element X is not present in the array A. So this is an example of a linear search algorithm, but this is not linear search, it is a search algorithm. Okay. A non-deterministic algorithm for this is for the given problem. So this code, it gives the non-deterministic. What is non-deterministic? The code is not neatly defined or uniquely defined. So you have to keep this in mind. Now what is not neatly defined? J is equal to choice of 1 comma n. So what this function does, choice will choose any one number starting from 1 till n. Okay. What is n? N is the size of the array. That means from 1 to size of the array, any number can be chosen. Now, there is if condition. If A of J is equal to X, whatever J that is chosen, so that is checked. That index is checked. Whether that A of J is equal to X. So if that is equal to X, then write the index where it is found, that is J, write J, and print that it is a success. Okay, if it is not present, write 0 and tell that it is a failure. Now observe this algorithm. If the key is present, think that X is present in the array. And choice, what choice will tell? Choice will search for that element. We don't know how it gives this J index. It somehow does some calculations, and it gives some value for J. And in that J, the X will be present. It is for sure that X is present in that index. And it prints a success. So how many operations it took? Only one operation. So this, the first line is one operation. The second line, the if condition is one more operation. Okay, so we can tell that almost it is a one operation. So in one operation, that means in big O of one time, this algorithm can search the element. But how it is possible? Even a linear search cannot find in one comparison. Linear search has to check the elements one after the other until it reaches the last, or it reaches the element that is to be searched. Okay, but how this choice is making the calculation, and how it is giving the exact position of this X, how this choice is giving the value for J, its exact position of X, this is not known. So we call this as non-deterministic. Okay, so this line of code is non-deterministic. So this algorithm, the whole algorithm is called as a non-deterministic algorithm. But what is the time taken? The time taken is, it is only one step. It takes only one, because here choice calculates, it does some calculation and it gives the result to J. Only in one step, it gives the actual index of that X. But how it is possible? Is it really possible? Okay, so this is called as a non-deterministic polynomial time algorithm. So this executes, the expectation is this algorithm should execute in polynomial time. Okay, but the code is non-deterministic. Nobody knows the code. Then who has to solve this? Some other researchers. There are plenty of researchers. So researcher will take this algorithm as a base algorithm, and they have to come up with the result for this line number 1. They have to work on this, and they have to see whether it is really possible to come up with the actual index of the element X in just one operation. If that is successful, then this algorithm, it becomes a deterministic polynomial time algorithm. Okay, I hope you understood that at this point. So similarly, there is one more algorithm. It is a sorting algorithm. I'll not go much deeper into this. So I'll just tell what it does. There is a for loop for I is equal to 1 to n. What for this for loop does, it will store 0 in the array B. B is a temporary array. In that it will store 0. A is the input array. And the problem is to sort. You have to sort n numbers. There is one more for loop for I is equal to 1 to n. Do what you are doing. J is equal to choice of 1 to n. So what this does is it has to choose one index and it should give to j, and that index should be of the element which is of the smaller magnitude. That means the choice should give the index of the smallest number from the array. But how it is possible? Is it possible? Is it really possible? So this is not neatly defined. So this is why we call this as non-deterministic code. So what happens? The smaller element comes. The smaller element, smaller element index will be stored in J. Then, if B of J is not equal to 0, initially we have stored zeros in the array B. So if it is not equal to 0, that means if some element has already been stored in that, write it as a failure. Otherwise, store the smallest element in the array, in the index B of J is equal to A of I. Take the element from A of I, from that store it to B. So like this, every element is copied to B, and finally what you are checking in the for loop for B of I, if B of I is greater than B of I plus 1. So B of I should be lesser than B of I plus 1 because we are sorting in ascending order. Okay, then you are printing failure. Otherwise, you print the entire array B, the sorted array, and print success. Okay, now the only code that we are focusing on this is this. This algorithm, it sorts the array in n time. It takes n loop, and in n loop it will give the sorted array. So whether it is really possible. So what the researcher has to do is, researcher has to come up with this. So how it is actually possible, how to find the smallest element from the array. So that is the task. So that is why this algorithm is called as non-deterministic algorithm. So these two examples are shown for you so that you can understand what is meant by deterministic as well as non-deterministic algorithms. Okay. Deterministic example is the example you can, whatever you learned in the subject, that is deterministic because every line of code is neatly defined. Whereas here, these two examples, there is a function called as choice, which doesn't contain neat definition of the code. Okay, so we call these as non-deterministic algorithms. Now, coming to the main point. Two things to focus in research for non-polynomial time algorithms. So now we are focusing on non-polynomial time algorithms. We don't want to do anything with the polynomial time algorithms because polynomial time algorithm will run faster. It will run faster. So for that purpose, the researchers, they put lot of effort towards this non-polynomial time algorithms. And what are the two goals of researchers? The first goal, to solve by developing non-deterministic polynomial time algorithms. See what this tells us these algorithms are non-polynomial. Algorithm itself is non-poly. It takes too much of time. So if you are not able to solve it, if you are not able to find deterministic polynomial time algorithm, what you do is you develop non-deterministic polynomial time algorithms. That means you write the code, you come up with some idea in which some part of the code may be non-deterministic, and some part may be deterministic. Okay, at least you come up with some idea. At least the researcher should come up with some code which contains the non-deterministic part which the researcher doesn't know and which should run in polynomial time. So this should be the first task. The second one is if not solved, if this is not solved, if he is not able to solve directly, then what the second point tells is you find similarities in the non-polynomial time algorithms. You find the similarity. There are many non-polynomial time algorithms. Knapsack is there, and subset sum is there. Graph coloring is there. N-queens is there. You try to find the similarities between them. Okay, you trying to find the similarities between those problems and relate them, and try to relate one problem with the another problem, and try to solve any one problem which is taken as reference, and try to solve any one problem which is taken as reference, so that the rest of the problems can be solved. If you come to the first slide, so these non-polynomial time algorithms, this take much time. So if the researcher is not able to solve these problems, if the researcher is not able to come up with the polynomial time algorithms, then what he has to do is he has to compare one algorithm with the other algorithm, and here it should try to see what is the similarity between this. So subset sum, graph coloring, knapsack, traveling salesman. If you analyze this, see all these are based on one concept. It is the concept of state space trees. Based on the state space trees itself, these problems are solved, isn't it? So try to identify such similarities and try to find the solution for any one of the problem, so that the other problems also gets solved by solving the main problem. So that is the second motto of researchers. If not solved directly, find similarities in the non-polynomial time algorithms, relate them, and try to solve any one which is taken as a reference. So one problem should be taken as a reference, and it has to be solved so that the rest of the problems can be solved. So for this, some of the reference problems that can be taken are knapsack decision problem, CNF probability problem, and max click problem. So these are some of the problems which can be taken as reference problems for non-polynomial time algorithm. So these 2 points you are supposed to remember. First point is you have to develop non-deterministic polynomial time algorithms. Okay, for this non-polynomial time algorithm. Second one is if you are not able to solve, find similarities, relate them, and try to solve any one which is taken as reference, so that other can be solved. If you look at the concluding points. P. So what we learned initially is the NP hard and NP complete. What it does, it provides some guidelines. It provides some guidelines about how to classify the research problems. How to classify the research problems. So this is the classification. The first class is P. What is this P? P is the set of all decision problems which has deterministic polynomial time algorithm. Okay, what is this P? You can see the set. So this is the set of algorithms, all algorithms which has deterministic code, which is deterministic as well as which runs in polynomial time. So what this is, from the first slide, you can refer it to this first category. So these are the polynomial time algorithms which are deterministic. Okay, it is called as P class. Next, one more class is there. NP. NP is the set of all decision problems which has non-deterministic polynomial time algorithms. So here, these are also polynomial time, but they are non-deterministic. Non-deterministic means the code is not neatly defined. The code is not neatly defined means it needs some research work. Some researcher has to work on this. Okay, and he has to come up with some result, so that this non-deterministic will get converted into deterministic. When this polynomial time, when this non-deterministic polynomial time algorithm, when some researcher is able to find deterministic code, then it will become a deterministic polynomial time algorithm. So this, you can see the set diagram here. The outer set is NP, non-deterministic polynomial time algorithm. N stands for non-deterministic, P stands for polynomial time algorithm. Now, what is this set? So in this set, there are problems which contain non-deterministic polynomial time algorithms. And so what the researcher has to do, researcher has to come up with some code, deterministic code. And once he comes up with some deterministic code, what happens to this NP? It will get converted into deterministic polynomial time algorithm, that is the subset, this set. That means a problem which was non-deterministic before, after some research, it will become deterministic. Okay, so once it becomes deterministic, it comes under P class. And once when it was non-deterministic, it will be in the NP class. So these are the first two classes of problems. Next two class, let us see. P is a subset of NP, so it is understood from this diagram. So still two classes are there. So before understanding these two classes, L1 equivalent to L2. So what this symbol tells us, it is polynomially equivalent. Problem L1 is polynomially equivalent to L2. That means in the previous slide we saw the second point, isn't it? The first point, what the first point is, the first point is related with this diagram. Okay, non-deterministic and deterministic polynomial time algorithm. So non-deterministic becomes deterministic. Second point, if it is not solved, you have to find the similarities. Isn't it? You are supposed to find the similarity. To find the similarity, we use this symbol. It is polynomial equivalent. Polynomially equivalent. Problem L1 is polynomially equivalent to problem L2. Means L1 is polynomially equivalent to L2 and vice versa. Vice versa means even L2 is polynomially equivalent to L1. So that means we should be able to identify the similarities between two problems and we have to relate them. We have to relate the two problems because we are not able to find the solution. If we are not able to find the solution, so the next step is we have to do this. We have to relate two problems. Okay. Now, NP hard, the third one, the third class. These are the non-deterministic, non-polynomial time algorithms. So when you come to the first slide, this one. So for these kind of algorithms, for these kind of algorithms, non-polynomial algorithms, there is no code. There is no code which runs in polynomial time. And hence they are called as non-deterministic, non-polynomial time algorithms. And they are called as NP hard problems. They are called as NP hard because researcher is still trying to work on these problems. The researcher is still trying to convert this algorithm into polynomial time algorithms. He is trying to write the code for this. And hence this class is called as NP hard problems. Okay. What is NP? Non-deterministic, non-polynomial time algorithms. Next. The last one, NP complete. NP complete means it is non-deterministic polynomial time algorithms. That means you're not able to solve this non-deterministic non-polynomial. So what the researcher will do is he will try to write the polynomial time algorithm, okay, by using non-deterministic codes. Non-deterministic code means the code which is not defined, neatly defined. Okay, some skeleton of the problem will be written, the algorithm will be written, and the researcher will not be able to write the definition for some part in the algorithm. So that should be done by some other researcher. So now, step by step, to conclude with, if you look at this set, this below circle, this is NP hard. These are the problems, research problems, which belong to NP hard class. So what is this NP hard class? NP hard means it is non-deterministic non-polynomial time. This contains the non-polynomial time algorithms for which there is no deterministic code. Okay, there is no deterministic code, which is non-deterministic. Now, what the researcher will do, he will work on this and he will move to the next step. What is the next step? He will convert these NP hard problems into the next category. We call them as NP complete. What is NP complete? It is non-deterministic polynomial time. We will convert these algorithms into polynomial time, where some of the codes will be non-deterministic. Okay, non-deterministic means the code are not neatly defined. Here the code itself is not known. In NP hard, the code itself is not known. Polynomial code itself is not known. Whereas in NP complete, the researcher is successful in coming up with some non-deterministic code and with the algorithm which runs in polynomial time. Okay. Next step. What is the next step? Next step is it will get converted into NP. What is NP? It is non-deterministic polynomial. See, we have seen in the previous class one. What is NP? Is a set of decision problems which has non-deterministic polynomial time algorithms. It is non-deterministic polynomial time algorithm. So NP is non-deterministic polynomial time algorithm, and even NP complete is also non-deterministic polynomial time algorithm. So hence it is a overlapping area. Okay, it is overlap area. So next it falls under NP. So since this is a circle, this circle is a part of the below circle. So even this area is NP. Okay. So once this reaches NP class, what is the next step? The researcher will take the problem from NP category and he will try to come up with the deterministic algorithms and he will put that in the category of P. What is P? It is polynomial, deterministic polynomial time algorithms. So this is how the researcher will make use of different classes of algorithms to save his research work. For example, I think that a researcher has started with taking one problem from this set. He has taken NP hard problem. And after 10 years of research, he is able to find some non-deterministic code and is able to convert that into polynomial time algorithm. So what happens? His research work will be put in this category, in the overlap category. So think that the researcher will die. After some 10 or 20 years of research, the researcher will die. And the same research work will be carried by his student. And what his student will do is, the student will not start from the scratch. He will look at the research work of his teacher and he will see in which stage it is. He will come to know that it is an NP complete stage. So once he comes to know that it is an NP complete stage, he will take that code or the algorithm, that whatever that is developed, he will work on this and he will try to take that to the next stage, that is NP. From NP, it will reach some other researcher or the same researcher. He may be successful in finding the deterministic code and it reaches the category of P. So once it reaches the category of P, it means that that particular problem is completely solved. There is a deterministic algorithm for any algorithm. For example, if I take a linear search, so where linear search comes, linear search is a part of P because linear search has a deterministic algorithm, isn't it? Where does binary search comes? Even binary search comes in P. So likewise, there are many algorithms which are under research and they will be in different classes or in different stages. And to identify in which stage the research is currently going on that particular problem, we use the concept of NP complete and NP hard.